Good afternoon, everyone. As we move forward, eating lamb's feet might be a change. We've eaten flat bread for thousands of years. And looking through the past, why are there so many underground facilities across the planet? Such giant hiding places. Something that shook a civilization. We're in change now. Monetary changes, social changes. Maybe it's because there's a cyclical, repeating, inbound event. A new bill in Washington is trying to invade your privacy. It's called the Lawful Access to Encrypted Data Act. If passed, this will be the end of warrant-proof encryption, meaning you and I won't have privacy from the government, even your own private encrypted data. Let me show you how it works. You can head over to virtualshield.com, and in the Download tab, I'm going to choose Firefox. And click Install Now to add the Virtual Shield add-on. It's just that easy. And get started with your free 30-day trial. Install it, click Connect. You'll see the shield turn from red to green. And you'll see how from my initial service provider, I was able to even change my IP. Virtual Shield Network protected. And during the month of July, Virtual Shield wants to offer 50% off all VPN plans because more of us than ever are working from our homes. The link's in the description box below. Starting over here in the Republic of Georgia, this is one of the oldest winemaking areas on the planet. I've looked at this country several times in terms of moving there as a grand solar minimum safety spot, and it checks so many of the boxes. But since travel's so restricted now, it's going to be more difficult to get there. Underground monasteries and complexes litter the country. Well, actually the planet. But you can see clearly where they've carved out and re-smoothed the entrances to parts of the monastery. Southeast of Tbilisi, in the Rustavi wine-growing area. And the reason I'm talking about microclimate is between the Black Sea and the Caspian. So to have 8,000 years of continuous wine production, something must have stayed stable there when other areas of the planet turn incredibly rough to be able to grow and harvest. But as you peruse through the monastery, you're going to notice there's a lot older entrances and pathways through the mountain. The newer orange roofs, approximately 1200 AD. They say the carvings that you're looking at in the side of the mountain there, about 500 AD or so. But then when you find this, that is far, far older than either of those. Although a lot of restoration goes on to try to hide these areas. They'll find it and they'll carve it back out and say, look, it was 1200 AD. I was looking at the monastery complex. They say it was founded in 6th century. Now they say one person carved all of this by themselves. But 6th century is 535 AD, the late antique Little Ice Age, the full collapse of the Roman Empire. And they built this underground complex at the exact same years. That's real interesting. Then the Georgian monarchy also collapsing same time that the Yuan dynasty collapsed in China in the mid to late 1200 era. Mongol army on the march again. They were looking for resources like much of our planet's going to be doing very soon with the superpowers going to different continents searching for food. So many cycles repeating. I'll leave the image here. Front 1200 AD, lower back mid 500 AD. How about the top up there? What do you think that would be? And why did they build all these? That's the whole thing, is across the planet we see so many of these, from Derin Yenku over in Turkey to the desert southwest and the cliff dwellings and everywhere you look across the planet. Perhaps it's an inbound repeating event that people had to flee underground to be able to survive such a thing. We see how behaviors are being changed right now in our society. It's almost as if we are fleeing underground. In my travels in the Czech Republic, I kept running across these large plank boards, realized my foot is a 12-inch shoe comparatively to the size of the planks, and every one of these has underground escape tunnels, and some of them used to be used for wine storage. So what was it about massive protection from something above that you could flee several floors below the earth? Now, one of these that we visited was in a pub and a restaurant, but because they grew their own food and they had all the produce coming from their farms, the walls were littered with this farm machinery. Pretty interesting. Farmall, hadn't heard of that one. And check out this Lance equipment here. Steam driven. So there's some nuggets to be found for sure. And protecting your goods and protecting your society seemed to be a name of a game throughout history as well. This is Xi'an. Look at the size of the walls there. Each one of these walls, that's the east or the north or the south city, 3 miles long each. And as we come into some of these more vast changes, our diets are going to be changing, especially with the seasonality or inavailability of foods. And we've been eating flatbreads for how many thousands of years now? Quite tasty, very simple, incredibly easy to prepare. And you put different nuts or seeds on top to change the flavor along with regular barbecue. Would you be able to switch and eat this instead of having your loaf of wheat bread or white bread that you get from the supermarket? Make it yourself. We're going to have to move into that. And another protein source that's widely overlooked are the feet of animals. Knuckles, bone marrow, the skin of the feet, etc. These are from goats. This is in western China, again, Xi'an. And not just one, but piles. Traditional foods heavy in fat. We are so lucky today that we have an excess of sugars and fats in our diet, but you have to think through the centuries and millennia. The things we take for granted today were not there in the past. These cycles are repeating. We're going to have to start making massive shifts in our diet. Money as well. It seems the narrative is to create the illusion that the dollar's collapsing, the illusion that everything's folding in on itself. But it's really an ushering in of a new monetary system. I personally think it's going to be a gold-backed, cryptocurrency-backed, and natural resource-backed monetary system when we restart everything. And I don't mean collapse, I mean evaporation to start a new level, just like they did with the city. They raised the city and they built a new on top. Our financial system's going through the same thing, and our society will soon follow. Cosmic bombardment, growth zone shifting, monetary reset. It's going to be an exciting time to be alive if you're able to move through the changes. And how prepared are you for food shortages? My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, the 2-week grab-and-go food crate, or the 4-week food supply, 25 years storable. Mylar-packed foods to give you the peace of mind. If the supermarket closes one day, I still have food to eat. The link's in the description box below, and it's another way to support the Adapt 2030 channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next video.